have a seat. Just got to get the lethargy out, right? There we go.
Hey, girls next time. I know those.
Yeah. That only applies to 50% of the audience. All right. Okay, guys, having fun so far? That was a great lunch, right?
Yep.
Thank you.
So thank you to our sponsors for lunch, right? Give a big round of applause. All right. Thank you. All right. So we're going to get, I'm going to show you just a couple cool things. And by the way, with technology, if we chose 2019 by accident and put it in 2020 or vice versa or whatever, don't worry, we'll take care of you. We're going to train up your trainers here in the room. You know, if you ever need any help, we'll always make sure everything's going to work fine for you. But if everything worked well, on the app, we did the goals, right? So the question is, where is that report? So go to your hamburger menu. That's the 3 things here, okay? It's called the hamburger menu. And it's like a menu of items, right? Your ketchup, your mayonnaise, Canadians use mayonnaise. All of that stuff, onions. So on that, it's all of these buttons here. So if you press the reports button, and you go to, now make sure you select the appropriate year. Now, for those of you who have done 2019, I want you to keep it at 2019, or you could go to 2020, see your goals first. Let's do that first. So go to 2020, and then click on Goals Report, okay? And by doing that, you're going to see now your KPIs, your key performance indicators. So using the example I had, my goal is 125,000 gross, which represents 14 transactions, 7 buyers, 7 sellers, 9 listing contracts, 9 buyer agreements. I need to do 18 seller appointments, 18 buyer appointments. I need to do 1,800 contracts. Bottom line is I'm worth $219.30. That's the first part of the report, right? And notice, by the way, if you ever go back into that step 2 and you want to change your numbers, felt you want to modify a little bit, resave it, and it'll automatically recalculate your report, right? So this is kind of cool because this used to be so elaborate to do the math, most people never did this. So now it's automated for you, right? So you've got now your key performance indicators. I know I got to do 1,800 contracts to get my 36 appointments, to get my 18 contracts, to get my 14 transactions, to get to my goal. That's how it's supposed to work. The next part of the report, if you keep scrolling it down, is now your budgets. So notice what's happening. Here's my report. Here's my gross goal, 125. Here's my cost of sales, take it off the top. Here's the amount I get from the brokerage, my 112.5. Here's my goal, 60% going to personal, 40% to business, and it's 40, 10, 10, 20, 20. That's my mantra for managing my money. All right, do you guys have that? Yeah. It's okay, there's always one in the room. Oh, did you? Oh, here, let me help you out real quick. So, reports, you just go to reports, 2019. Did you do 2020? Uh-huh. So go change it to 2020, and then goals report.
Oh. Well,
okay. Maybe you put it in 2019 by accident, see? So go reports, let's go to 2019. Oops, sorry, that was the wrong report, dum-dum, for me. Yeah, see, you put it in 2019. So you can just add that to 2020, okay? I told you there's always somebody who puts it in the wrong year. All right, guys. So everybody cool with that? That makes sense? So that's just a static report though, right? It's just saying, okay, here are my goals, and now you can look at it on occasion, always go to goals report. Now, for some of you, you do have, most of you in this room have this benefit where the tracking was done for you in 2019, all right? Your gross commission income has been put into the tracker. And the nice thing is you guys don't have to do the tracking. Your office is doing it for you, okay? As I know with Greg's office and Dave Nichols' office right now, that's being done, okay?
Peter, real quick.
And Brian.
Peter?
Yeah.
So one of the things we haven't put in there for our folks is source of business, because you don't tell us what that is. And I would challenge you, go back and look at those transactions.
Yeah.
And put the source of business in there, because as we start to have our meetings for 2020 planning, we've got to be able to analyze where did the business come from and how do we grow it by looking at where you came from.
And to reinforce David's point, remember I showed you Robert's numbers, and I was able to quickly identify some things that you think would be obvious but weren't obvious for him. And that's the whole purpose. So again, if you're really committed to running your business like a business, you want to know your source of business. You just got to commit to that. So here's the cool thing. You don't even have to do the tracking. All you have to do is just tell them, where did you get that deal? Simple, right? And to do that, you're going to get another report. So I'll show you what that's going to look like in a second. So for those of you that have the tracking done in 2019, here's what's cool. By 2020, I don't want to get too elaborate. I don't want you to get overwhelmed. Just take as much as you can. But how cool is this? I do this with brokers too. Say, look at, now you have January of 2019 in the books already recorded for you. Then you could compare it to what you do in 2020. The best way to look at numbers is this year versus the same month last year, right? Because you have market rhythm. It doesn't make sense to compare the previous months, right? So you're going to already have that. Starting January, you're going to be able to look at your numbers from that perspective. And what you measure gets what? Improves. So you can start to see already, okay, oh, I got to get that prospecting going. I've been a little sluggish after New Year's to get going, so I'm going to start making those prospecting calls. Call my clients. Hey, I hope you had great holidays, or whatever your strategy is for calls, okay? Anyways, so for those of you that have that, if you go to your reports again, go back to reports, now go, make sure you choose 2019 and go to GCI report. You should see something like this, all right? So let me just show you. The first circle you're going to see is your your closed gross commission income versus your goal. That's the first one for the month. That's month to date. So it's going to give you a percentage. So if your goal, excuse the big numbers, but if your goal is $49,000 and you achieve $28,000 closed gross that month, you're at 57% of your goal month to date. It shows a dollar differential and a percentage. The next circle is year to date. So it's saying, okay, let's roll up January to November now. My goal for January to November is this amount. Let's say it's 100,000. I did 125,000. I'm at 123% of my goal year to date, which is cool. And the last circle represents how close you are to your annual goal. Does that make sense? Month to date, year to date, annually. Everybody, who does, do you guys see it? Who sees that on their reports? A few of you? Okay, good. Don't worry, we're going to follow up with you throughout the year with all of this, but that's what your report will look like, okay? All right, so that's the GCI, your gross goal. That's only one of your metrics. Now, guys, I wanted to start out by saying this, that we're investing $100,000 to $200,000 into the app next year. We're going to keep adding new reports, new information. This is just a tool, but we do want to get it to a level where it's going to be really cool. But right now, the app shows you your goals report and GCI, okay? However, the same username and password you have is the same password that you use for the desktop version. So you have an account there too, all right, which has more reports on it. So if you go to my website, theprofitcenter.com, you can spell it the Canadian way or you can spell it the wrong way. It's up to you. All right. We spell center, C-E-N-T-R-E, just so you know. So it's the British way, yes. All right, so you go to the website. You'll all have an account in this room. If you don't, you'll have one. You go to member login, and here on the login page, you just put your username and password here and click login. Simple enough. Same username and password you have now. Now, when you log in, it's going to look like this. This is your GCI report on the desktop. So it shows, like, for instance, here in the month of June, that's my actual versus my goal. That's my dollar differential. That's my percentage differential. Just pretend those are right there, okay? And then that's your year-to-date here. Year-to-date versus your goal versus your dollar differential to your percentage Okay, that makes sense? Month to date, and if you keep scrolling down, year to date. And then ultimately, it shows your annual right there. Okay? There's that percentage. That you have available on the screen right now. If you went in there and you looked at your GCI report for 2019, that's the way it looks. Okay? Now, to David's point, he brought about source of business. Remember? So, by the way, so if you give the source of business to your brokerage, they can easily add it to the tracking, so it creates a source of business report for you too. And again, you can see now, I know if you don't do an awful lot of volume right now, this may not have the same value as somebody who does a lot more. But as you move forward, you want to start identifying where's your business coming from, so that's the source of business report, okay? Oops, there was actually, I had two other reports in here. There's another report called a transaction report. How many, so if you don't know how many buyers and sellers you have right now that you sold last year, the transaction report would actually show you a drop down saying, oh, here's how many people I got from sellers, and here's how many people I got from buyers. It would show your goals versus your actual, because the goals that you set transports that goal into the report, and then it shows the same thing, your percentages, okay? Makes sense? So again, this is just the tools. It's your means of measurement. It's not everything in your business, but at least you have that tool there available to you. You can utilize it. You can see it. Maybe just take a peek at it once a month just to get a sense of where you're at. That's what it's all about, all right? There's another report called a profitability roadmap, but I won't go into that with you guys right now. I'll share with your trainers on what that's going to look like. So there's more stuff for you, okay? I don't want to get you too overwhelmed. Everybody cool so far? All right? All right, awesome. Okay, here's what we've done. We talked about the 5 purposes of business. Make a profit, number 1. What's number 2? Anybody remember? Leveraging time, right? Number 3? Differentiate, yes. Number 4? I know it's a little tougher. It was professional fulfillment. And number 5, you know. Have something to what? Sell. That's the 5 purposes of business. We talked about the 2 sides of the coin. The sales sides of the coin makes you money. The financial operations side of the coin makes you profit, right? So there's the 2 sides of the coin. We then set your goals. We said we need to define your key performance indicators. Well, so some of you in this room have never done that before. Never defined your goal to that deeper level of these are my performance indicators. How many contacts I have to make? How many appointments I need to book? How many contracts that's going to get me? And how many transactions that's going to produce to get to my GCI goal? So all of that you've got now locked and loaded, right? So you got the foundation now laid. Remember that foundation? There's my there's my planning. There's defining my key performance indicators. Here's how I'm going to handle my money, right? We talked a little bit about value proposition, but I want to finish off this day by talking about how to make more money. You guys good with that? All right, good, fantastic. So the last segment is called Stop Just Sitting on a Fortune, Start Maximizing Your Repeat and Your Referral Business. And even if you are managing that database right now, I'm going to suggest that it could be done a lot better and you can generate a lot more. Everybody cool with that? And for those of you who have never started this yet, this is the time to start, because there's no more important strategy in your business than managing your past and repeat referral business. There isn't one. If you have got this locked down, stop everything else, because the money is in the relationships, right? It makes no sense to spend money on getting weak or lukewarm leads when you've got hot leads already and you've got a database of people who want to give you business. So 5 steps to maximizing that database, and I'm going to improvise a little bit in this portion of the presentation, and I'm going to try to get right to the heart of the matter. In fact, this is the stuff that I would love to present on all day long. How to make more money. You know, all the different ideas and strategies. But you took the time. We spent now, let's say 4 hours together, including lunch. But you know what, guys? You've done it. You've built the foundation. Now let's just start making money, okay? All right. So, oh, never mind that. No. No lunch break. Oh, by the way, before I forget, there is a survey on the last page of the workbook. On that survey, I do ask for just some of your comments on rating the presentation today and whether you got some value out of it. And if you'd be kind enough, I'd love to take your any of your thoughts and even post it on social media on our website. So you're comfortable with that. I'd really appreciate it if you enjoyed today so far. Would you be kind enough just to share a few words and leave that for me? I'd really appreciate it, okay? On that note, if you loved everything you heard today, my name is Peter Mueller. If you hated everything I said today, my name is Greg Coons, okay? On that note, and it does help me with my business, so that's my ask in return, okay? And if truly you didn't like me at all, just don't write anything at all. So on that note too, we do have Bill Bueno at the back, and I know it was mentioned before, but we'd love to just get your insights. We would really love to, even if you just had a quick thought, oh my gosh, this was a thing I'm going to do next year in my business, it was so insightful, or anything like that nature, we'd love to get your comments on video if you're okay with that too, okay? That being said, let's move forward. All right. The 5 steps to managing your business. Now, guys, remember we talked about business. So, number one reason why a lot of businesses fail is the lack of leverage. All right? Leverage means that you're not leveraging other people or systems or strategies to help you make money. Sooner or later, you're going to burn out. You run out of gas. You don't have any more energy. Or you get so overwhelmed. You want to leverage yourself all the time. The best source of leverage in this business is the clients and the relationships you currently have. To not take advantage of that it's just insane, okay? It doesn't make any sense. But here's the problem. In our industry, a lot of us are these people it's like a drug with us. It's about getting to the next deal, the next adventure, the next sale. But you got to realize, if you look at your business like a business, do not neglect this incredible experience you had with the buyer or the seller, which they are in this state of reciprocity where they want to give back, and people want to have good relationships with people in different various services. I don't even remember the last time I hired even a contractor without it being personally referred to me. I would ask, who did you use for that? Well, they said, so-and-so. Did you like them? Yes? Oh, great. Then I'm going to call them. It's that simple. Whether it be contracting or any industry or real estate, it's the same thing. It's scary if you've never bought a house before. Who do I use? How do I know I got the right agent? We just talked about the fact on the Toronto board, the average agent sells 1 house a year. Do you really want somebody to be stuck with that agent? No. Right, exactly. Somebody who doesn't know from here to fill in the blank, right? Because that's the gift that you give to them, right? And that's what you have to look at from the consumer perspective. We could take it for granted. The only time this really came to life for me is when I stopped selling, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, now I can be a little bit more objective, and I see what it's like from the consumer experience. And my agent that I bought from, I like to say it was my girlfriend's friend, right? But I haven't heard from her again regarding my sale and about any follow-up. She never called me back on my birthday or anniversary, and not that attached to that, but I'm just saying, or how about something to offer, like when we moved in, if she showed up and maybe provided food for the move day or stuff like that, or even found out when we were all of those things, right? But you see, if we're short-sighted and just go to the next sale, we're going to miss a huge opportunity. So it definitely costs so much less time and effort and money managing the relationships you currently have than going for the next shiny object. Now, I'm not a pro or con against Zillow, Trulia, and all these other things, and lead gen. That's not what I'm here to discuss. That's a different conversation, different day, different circumstances. But what I see every day, because we track the information, is how many people throw so much money away on that stuff when they're not managing this. It doesn't make any sense. Look at the example I just gave you too, where Robert was generating $700,000 plus from repeat and referral. He's spending 40, 50 grand on something like Zillow, not even managing it right in the first place. Why? Didn't make any sense at all. So I'm not saying it's bad or good. I'm saying wouldn't it make sense to spend more on where you get the best return? Absolutely. I think that's a no-brainer in this room. Even when I was 19, 20 years old, when I started in real estate, I paid money for a CRM called Maximizer at the time. I don't even know if they're still in business. I always wanted to track my contacts and my clients. You know why? Because I wanted an excuse to call them, and I wanted to remember who they were and what the experience was, what their kids' names are. I did that back at 20 years old. And the reason I did that was because when I called somebody, I didn't want it to be some cold call. I wanted it to be a warm call and make reference to the kids. And by the way, my blue is pretty high too, okay? Just so you know. I just don't show it that often in this kind of an environment. But the reality is, I want to have a reason to call somebody. And so it's the same thing for you. So you got to look at your business. 2020 should be the year of your clients and getting client referrals because they want to give you business, all right? According to NAR, they say that 88% of the buyers that bought a house from you would use you again, but only 10% or 12% did. Did you know that? Only 12% are using a typical agent again for the second time. Why? I think you know the reason why. 81% of sellers were polled said that they, or not, I don't know what number of sellers, it might have been a pool of 100 or 1,000 people. 81% of them said they would sell their house with you again, list with you again, but some of them don't remember where your phone number is or remember your name or which company you're with. That's the truth. Because if it takes 5 years for a typical buyer or a seller to sell their house again, you think they're going to remember you in 5 years? No, they won't. They won't. Because if I just think about who your insurance, do you know your insurance agent off the top of your head? Your life insurance agent? Yeah? Some of you do. That's great. That means they must be contacting you somehow, right? So can you tell me that experience? Like, how do you know your insurance? What's your life insurance name? And he doesn't call you just for business, I'm assuming, right? There you go. Amazing. And he's got your whole book of business, it sounds like, too, which is pretty awesome. And again, the same thing, right? In real estate, how many of your past clients could say the same thing about you? And by the way, if you have been neglecting this for a while, it's never too late. Call them back, but have something worthwhile to talk about, right? And do not say, hey, think about selling now in the near future, have you? Like, click, right? So I think we've pretty much underscored that point. That's true, right? That's just a statistical fact. Okay. Come on. Oh, I know. There we go. All right. Here's some psychology for you just to reinforce the strategy before we talk about how to make more money. According in psychology, they've determined that it takes 22 touches a year for somebody to remember your name, remember your industry, and what company you work for. Okay, 22 touches a year. But that's just not a bunch of emails that go out on random basis in your social media posts. No, that's talking about there's a combination of passive touches and active touches that make that work. And by the way, just statistically, 3 touches, they'll remember your name a year. 7, they'll remember your name in your industry, okay? And the last one, they'll have enough memory retention to create trust to refer their business and refer business to you. That's the other key thing, refer business to you, okay? 22 touches a year. That's the key. That's the key. And by the way, it's not just 22 passive touches. There are also active touches. They say that it takes 7 or 1 active touch, that's a phone call, an interaction face-to-face, or something of that nature is worth 7 passive touches. 1 active touch is worth 7 passive touches. That's why you're crazy if you're not calling them. You're not touching base with them and calling them with something of value and substance, okay? Because they want to have a relationship with you. That's why they dealt with you in the first place. Excuse me. So this is the difference between social, again, passive and active. Face-to-face, call-to-call, follow-up phone calls, live conversation. That's active. Passive is the website, social media, direct mailers, newsletters, and things of that nature. I think you need a combination of both. And if you have a strategy that, here's what I believe in. I don't like doing a lot of work. I don't like to manage a lot of things. I would rather hire a company to send out my passive touches on a regular, ongoing basis and just get it done. You know, and why not? I'll tell you why not. Because we don't want to invest the money or it costs too much. You know that if you have, I think I was talking to my friend David Greenspan, he says it costs about $1 a month per client to have an excellent database management touch system in place. All right, you got 300 people, it will cost you about $300 a month, $3,600 a year from account number 4, right? I mean, why not? Why not have some consistency going out there so that they get something in the mail, they actually can touch it, feel it, open it up, oh, it's Peter, and recycle it. I don't care. I don't care. The fact that they actually touched it is good enough. I remember once I'd have a client call me back and say, oh, Peter, awesome newsletter last month. And I said, oh, I felt like saying, what was it about? I didn't write it. I didn't write it. I didn't care to even read it. The point of the matter is there are people out there that want to know. There are people out there that are interested and they will read it, and if they're not, they'll recycle it, but they still see my face and they still see the passive touch. That's the point. So the point of the matter is, if you want to spend time writing articles and doing all this stuff, if that's your passion, knock yourself out. But it wasn't mine. Mine is about efficiency, get it done, so I can focus on what? The active touches. I don't want to spend time doing this stuff. I want to spend time doing that stuff. And I could pay somebody to do all of that. So for me to waste time thinking that that's the be-all and end-all, no. It's like sending out 10,000 postcards and then being disappointed because nobody's called you. You know, because it's like it's a one-hit wonder. And, you know, it's like a magnifying glass. I wish I saw a magnifying glass somewhere around here. And if you hold a magnifying glass like this, and there's sun shining, and you do this, you're not creating nothing. That's what happens when you just throw a bunch of fire, hope it sticks, and you go, well, that doesn't work, and don't do it again. But when you send stuff out to your database, it's like holding that magnifying glass still and let the light penetrate that and point everything into one point that creates fire. And then, right? It's a magical experience. And that's what we have to think about, is how do we do that for our clients? So, let me show you some math. How many people have at least 100, 150 people in your database? All right? Okay, anybody 200, 300, 400, 500? Okay, there's some of you got a lot, right? Which is good. All I'm going to suggest is there's a fortune sitting in that database if we're really leveraging it right, okay? And for who doesn't have a database yet? Okay. One shy person, 2. Okay, a few, okay? This is the #1 strategy for you guys for 2020. Sometimes they'll say, well, where do I start? Well, why don't you start with your own friends, family, and relationships, okay? That's #1. And #2, you know, you can get a quick database. Choose a 200-home farm area, okay? And make that your database, because it's the same thing. It's just the fact that you haven't sold them a house yet, well, you haven't sold some of your family houses yet either. So what's the difference? So there's no excuse, because this is where the money is, okay? If you had only 150 people, let's just do the math. They say, according to NAR, the average person moves once every 5 years, right? Once every 5 years. Well, that's easy math. Divide 5 into 150, that gives you 30 transactions already. But wait, we're not done yet. What if only half of these 30 were sellers and the other half buyers? What do sellers become? Bingo. Let's say only 13 of those 15, which is already a conservative number, buy again from you. That's 43. Here's the easy math. Take your database and divide it by 30%. And that's pretty much the potential of your database. You got 500 people, or 450 people, let's do it easy. That's 150 transactions. Did you know that? 150. Can I say that again? 150. If you got 500 people and you're pulling out 20, that's good, but realize there's 150. Or you've got too many people in that database that you're not doing the proper leverage of the people that are really hot A-listers, right? See where I'm going with that too? So you can have too many, because it's not just anybody and everybody who's got a heartbeat, right? And how do you categorize those people is another story. So the reality is, out of 150 people, regardless, there's 30%, or let's call it 43 transactions. Many of you in this room don't even have that as your goal. 43 transactions, all right? So if that's the case, that's all it's going to take. Why would you need any other strategy than this? Like, really? What else should you be doing than this? 43? Do I have to say it again? Now, let's quantify that for a second. Let's say your average sale price is $250,000 at 2.5%. I'm being conservative. That's $6,200 and $6,250 an end. You multiply that by the 43, that's $268,000 in GCI. Once again, I'll just say it again. The majority of this room didn't even have that as a goal, right? And I'm saying to you, it's simple. But let's not overcomplicate it. I hope you didn't get overwhelmed with the financial strategy and the budget. We got it all done now. It's done. You don't have to think about it anymore. Now all you have to think about is this. Let's make a ton of money, and let's stop giving it to our competitors, because they're going to go somewhere. Are you getting 30% of your database? I would guarantee you nobody in this room is getting close to that. Guarantee it. Do the math for yourself. And that's why I said, look at your source of business. How many deals are you pulling out of that? And how many people are actually in the list? Does anybody need any more inspiration to do this and rock it? Right? No, right? There's nothing else necessary here. That's why when I talk about, hey, if you got this nailed, then go on to spending a ton of money on Zillow, this and that, and making that work, and lead conversion and everything else. But man alive, if we're not maximizing this, why not spend the time and energy and effort and your budget here? And it costs a lot less. A lot less. I have clients that spend over $100,000 a year on lead gen. Sorry. A month, I have some. A month. And we're not going to talk about those stories, but some of them so you can get the big award, your ROI is like next to nothing. Anyways, see, here's the bottom line. We're in an industry that sort of celebrates bullshit. All right? So let's get to the truth, and this is what you're going to get to. So bottom line is, if we're losing 67.5% of that, because that's what we are, remember? I just looked at the statistics, I just added it together. You're giving your competitors $181,000 out of your money. And by the way, I know some of you are getting some return, so we're saying you would have got at least $80,000 just with your eyes closed and hands tied behind your back if you're doing something. But why give $181,000 to your competitors, right? And that's the point. And here's the other amazing thing. Do you think you have to compete with other agents when you're dealing with this group? No. They already love you. They already know you. They just call you up and say, we're time to sell the house. That's what happens. I know from my personal experience, when I was selling real estate, that was the bulk of my business, was past repeat and referral. And then when I had a wicked database, which I handed over to my wife when she got into real estate, okay? Or ex-wife. But the bottom line is, it was a repeat, sustainable business, right? I don't know how well it's going right now. It's not my business. Yeah, exactly. Whew, okay, enough personal. Number one, you got to have some sort of CRM. I know Remax has one. There are a number of CRM. I don't care. Pick one and use it. Start capturing information about them. Do you know their email addresses? Are you friends with them on Facebook? Do you know their kids' names? Do you know when their anniversary is? Do you know the name of their dog? Do you? You should. Because that's the information that's personal, that connects with people. You're in a relationship business. They will sell their house with you because they like who you are. They understand that you're not about the money. You're about the relationship. And that's what has to be the focus of the conversation and your strategy, right? It's a great business. It's so much fun. Why are we making it so difficult? Because if you keep chasing the shiny object, you'll never have enough time to focus on the most important things. So, you have to have a contact database, some sort of CRM, customer relationship management software. And you have to work this. I know some people think they can manage it off a spreadsheet, but honestly, no, you can't. I mean, to a certain degree, you can have a list, but where are you going to store all the notes, all the interconnections, all the different details and nuances? So, first of all, you need a CRM to manage all the stuff. So I like these guys. This is called Keep in Touch Systems. I don't care who you use. Like I said, if you use them, I'm not going to get a nickel. But I got to tell you why I like them. I like them because they've got this cross-channel marketing feature, which I'll explain to you in a second. So bottom line is, and I'm not telling you anything new either, but you need to categorize your contacts into ABCs. And somebody just recently said, oh, I got another category called F. That's the FO group. So to make sure they never get back on the list. Anyways, hey, whatever. But, you know, there's different categories. There's different types of categorizations of people in your database, right? You have those people that are, like, should be on a drip campaign, right? Somebody you're just nurturing the lead and furthering that lead nurture. You've got past clients. You've got all these different categories. I mean, but here's the thing. Sometimes we'll just broad brush something, send something out to everybody, and you just sell a house. Think about this. You just sold a house to one of your clients, and now they get a newsletter from you that says, now's the best time to sell your house. See how it's tacky. And it shows that there's no thought. It doesn't show like real personal interconnection there, right? It's just something, it's broad brush. You know what I hate? I get sometimes these emails from agents all the time. It's their templated email thing that they blast out, and I'll have 3 in my inbox with the exact same stuff on it. And it's like, oh, okay. Remember we talked about being what? Starts with the letter D? Okay, so again, you know, like that's better than nothing. Don't get me wrong, I still think it's better than nothing, but if you really want to amp up your game and be different, then guess what? You think about it and you go, what can make me different? How do I do that? What makes me stand out from everyone else? So that's the things you think about, but first step, you need a contact list in a CRM, bottom line, all right? And you need to have the categorization of these people. So you're not sending the same stuff to everybody. And by the way, how cool is it when you have a company that already knows once you categorize it what to send out to each person? Like, guys, do you really want to get into the science of marketing? Do you really want to design all of this? You want to get to a point where you're going, oh gosh, it's been 3 months since I sent something out. What should I send out? And you're spending the day, and then you get busy and something comes up and now it's 4 months. Guys, that's not a business. That's no control. There's no way you're going to be successful with that kind of attitude and that kind of approach. It's not going to work, right? You need to hire professionals to take care of certain things on your behalf, right? And you need to have a responsive calendar that connects to it. Hey, when are you going to send out that email? When is that marketing, that newsletter going out? When am I going to make a phone call? Or am I going to call through those people? When I'm going to do the events? This should be done a year in advance. This will be part of our training throughout the year. Where's your calendar? Let's see it. Where have you time blocked? What's being sent out? When, where, and why? Has anybody done one of those before? Oh, it's okay, right? But see, I'm just telling you, look you're here, let's get to here, okay? Now, don't get overwhelmed. Some of you are going, oh my gosh, don't even look at this right now. But you got to start with at least capturing this people. You got to start looking at that factor. And by the way, would I take a 200 home area and market and spend $3,600? Borrow the money if you have to, all right? I tell you, and see, this is the point. I know it's kind of crazy to say I'm talking about how to manage your money and how to have debt and everything, but in this case, if you're not moving forward and the only thing that's holding you back is the investment to do what you're supposed to do to make it right, then you know what? Sell something, get the money, and put it in your business, because you're going to make money if you invest money if you do it right. That's my message, all right? So this is another pillar under the contact list. It's It's called cross-channel marketing. Man, when I was in real estate back in the 80s and 90s, I didn't have half of this stuff. Here's your CRM. I had that, but we didn't have a website. I had direct mail. I didn't have email. I didn't have social media. I had some form of a drip campaign. I did do a farm area, and I did have a calendar, okay? But the reality is right now, our business has changed. What's the only thing that's changed is the technology. Everything else is the same. People still want to work with people. I don't care if you got virtual tours of the house, they'll walk through of everything. They still want to physically look at that house. They still need to touch it, experience it, and they want you to lead them through it, right? So technology is an assist. It's not everything. But boy, oh boy, the personal relationships with the database is the number one reason, or the number one source of business for a successful realtor still to this day. Even in 2020, right? Only 5 to 10% maybe lead gen, like internet lead gen, okay? Think about that. So when you're talking about direct mail and sending something out, I also think, well, why not have a company that knows how to design stuff better than you can and have different dimensions of the paper, different types of folds, little, here, thank you card. Who's ever sent out thank you cards? Yeah, good for you, because that's an awesome thing. I was even saying for recruiting, too, for the brokers in the room, how about sending a thank card every time you have a conversation? Hey, it was great talking with you today. Just want to say I hope to talk to you soon, or whatever. Put a $5 gift card in there for coffee. Say, have a coffee on me. After an appointment, send out a gift. Hey, we were talking about good to great. You know, I thought you'd really enjoy that book. Here's a copy of the book. Whatever, right? Anyway, same thing for you guys. Every time you have a conversation, how about sending out a thank you? Hey, it's just really great connecting with you. You know what? I won't have a chance maybe to pop by, but I thought I'd buy you a cup of coffee. Buy a bunch of $5 coffee cards, send that out. Don't you think that's cool? But that's a strategy. That means you write it down. It's in your process. This is what I do when I do this. I make a phone call. I'm going to find out their social media address, connect with them on Facebook. I'm going to do this and this. I'm going to ask for the kids' names. And you may not get everything all at one shot, but at least you have that list thinking, so you don't have to think about what to talk about, oh, I'm interrupting dinner. Sorry. Right? You go, hey, by the way, I'd love to connect with you on Facebook. I'm thinking about putting a Facebook group together, right, of our clients and just giving different tips on insurance and mortgage and rates and this and that and the other thing. How about something like that, right? So again, guys, think outside the box. Don't try to do everything, but figure it out. That's why you got to write it down. That's a system, okay? So definitely, I like the physical, tangible, something you can touch and feel, and the email stuff too, all right? A combination of both, all right? So, yeah, with the emails too, sure, it could be market updates, it could be whatever it may be, but I like knowing about the marketplace, if the house has gone up or down and stuff like that. I like stuff of that nature. Of course, being a numbers guy now, right? But regardless, you need to have something going out on a regular basis just so they can touch it, but don't expect it. You're going to get conversions because of it. It's the touches, right? The relationship. Okay. And yeah, with email or whatever else. I like BombBomb. Who uses BombBomb here? Put your hand. Only a few of you. Okay, so BombBomb is something that, guess what, we found out about R4 Convention or whatever else, right? Because that's where all the great tech stuff is there, and that's cool information. But instead of an email, how about doing this? You pick up your phone, you go, hey guys, it's Peter. I just want to say hi. It's been a while. I know I haven't talked to you in a while, and blah, blah, blah. Just want to wish you a great day, and I hope the kids are doing well. Wish you Merry Christmas, Happy Thanksgiving, whatever it may be. Click send, poof, to your client, as opposed to an email. That's a nice personal touch when you think. Do you think people would open up that more than a list of 200 emails that come in your inbox every day? You go delete, 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 right? But you know what? If they open up an email and they see your face there, oh, there's Peter or Susan or whomever. Click, hey, it's me, it's Peter, blah, 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 blah. That's different. Is that different?
Yes.
What's the third purpose of a business again? Differentiation, and again, that's in a marketing perspective. I know, it's another thing, the service you provide, but how about the way you interact with people? Again, where do you pick up these? Who's going to implement something like that? All right, a couple of you, great, good. A few of you, good, perfect. Now, I think BombBomb may cost you $300 a year, but again, is that investment that comes out of account number what? 4, right? It's a great way to communicate with your clients. You'd feel better about it. You'd feel more personal about it, everything else, okay? So anyways, a combination of direct mail and email, absolutely. Social media, absolutely fantastic. Many times I'll do a video of just doing a presentation like I'm doing right now. In fact, I wish I had my phone on me. Hang on one second. Let me just show you how this works. This is so easy. Don't worry, I'll be back, Bill.
Is this your phone?
No, the other one. Hang on one second, guys. Come on, where's my phone? Okay, maybe I'm not going to do it. Here it is. All right, I'm back. Here's how easy it is to do social media. Is that recording? Yes. Hey, it's Peter Mueller here today. How's it going? I'm here with the great agents in Kansas City, Missouri. Say hello, everyone. Hey. You guys having a good time? You're learning about how to make what? Profit. Woo, absolutely. Let's make 2020 your best year ever. This is Peter Mueller signing off, wishing you all a profitable day. There, simple, right? Now, I'm going to post that on my Facebook feed. If you guys want to be friends with me, just search out Peter Mueller. I'd love to connect with you regardless. But again, I'll tell you why I do stuff like that. I do stuff like this. I also put my personal stuff in there because people want to connect with you personally, no question about it. But, sometimes I'll get somebody who will interact with me and say, hey, I just noticed you're down in Kansas City, Missouri, or in Louisiana. Holy smokes, you're over here at this, or in this place, Windsor, Ontario, whatever it may be. I want them to see what it is I do for a living because a lot of my friends that I have are also regional owners that are people that would hire me to do keynotes or talks or workshops or presentations. So I just post something fun and light, did it there real quick. I'll do this tonight. I'll just post it up. Piece of cake. Easy peasy, right? Lemon squeezy, right? It's not that complicated or that hard. Now, you can take it up a notch. You can hire a marketing genius and have somebody to even, make it even smoother and nicer. But bottom line is, that's what you do. So if you have all your clients on your Facebook posts, on your Facebook friends, that's nice for them to see who you are as a person. They see your kids. They see all these different wonderful things about you that make you special. I'm not a big fan of every time you do an open house that I see it on your Facebook feed because honestly, I live in Ontario, Canada. I'm not going to come to your open house in Kansas City, and most people aren't going to look at your open house. But don't get me wrong, I'm not saying it's bad or wrong. I'm just saying in general, you want a lot of personal. You want more personal than even business, all right? But so easy just to integrate that as part of your strategy. What if you just decided to create I don't know, how about this? On your BombBomb or whatever else, you create a video of yourself talking about the marketplace, about the percentage of the house prices, how much it's gone up or down. Maybe just put it once a month in your calendar. You're going to do a video update, and then you send that out to your database to everybody. See that? That's 12 touches right there, by the way, just so you know. Right? It's not that difficult. You just have to pick something. Don't try to be perfect. Don't make it all magical. That'll come all on its own as you keep doing things, okay? So if you try to make it perfect, you're not going to do it. I guarantee you. If you think you got to have it all figured out, you're going to stay in stall, all right? So how are we doing for it's 2:26? Okay, I want to show you one more thing. I'm going to take a short break after that, and then we're going to wrap it all up maybe 15 minutes after the break, okay? So we're going to get you out early. You okay with that?
I'll just push through.
Yeah, well, I do, but I have a reason for that. Yeah, but no, I appreciate it. So guys, send out something wow. Okay, you can imagine how many calendars I get a year. Right? I know thousands of agents and brokers, okay? And I'll get calendars and emails, you name it. But I got to tell you something. I really only need one calendar. I'm going to show you one calendar that I keep out of everybody's. Out of everybody's I get. It's this one. Right here. Okay? Now, I brought my sisters along to give you as an example. Her name is Angela Hoffman. And I tell you why I like this. It's the month of November, and it's got the name Hoffman written in the sky, in the stars. Here's December, where it's a gift bag, type thing for Christmas, and it's got her name Angela on it. Let's see. What's the rest of them? Here's January, where the name Hoffman is on the champagne bottle for New Year's, I guess, right? So you can see where I'm going with this. Is this kind of personalized or what? Is that a bit of a... if you've got something like that, wouldn't you maybe say... Now, how many people send out typical regular calendars, right? Now, that's better than nothing, okay? But for those of you who do that, what if you stepped up your game a little, right? Yeah. And get a wow, right? And so that sits on my mind, sits on my desk, and it's the only way, and it's so cool. But it makes you what? It starts with D, different, right? Makes you stand out. Everybody else sends out this, not everybody. In fact, if you're sending something out, that's good. But this even just takes it up a notch. So I would say once a year, send out a wow. Send out a wow. I don't even think this is $2 a piece, by the way. And by the way, what I love about marketing, keep this in mind, is a thing called variable data marketing. What variable data marketing means is that you customize a message specific to the type of contact or category that they're in, okay? That's what that means. That means, and by the way, if you had somebody who has clients that speak different languages, put up your hand, right? Would it be kind of, what's so funny? Huh?
Vietnamese.
Oh, Vietnamese, okay. Imagine this. Imagine if the first paragraph of your newsletter that you send out to them is in Vietnamese, or in Mandarin, or in Hindi, or whatever language they speak, German, Spanish, French. How cool would that be? Do you think that would take it up a notch too? So when you have variable data marketing, you can create a sample template of a piece and customize it to the individual based on their name, what category you place them in. See guys, that's 21st century stuff. All right? That's ups your game. That makes you look like a pro. And that's what I think 2020 should look like. Wouldn't you agree? Yeah, I agree too. All right. So I want to take a short 10-minute break so you can just grab a cup of water, go to the bathroom real quick, make a phone call, and come right back. All right. We're in the home stretch, guys. Home stretch. Okay. I'm going to try to tie these pieces together in a bit of a story, okay? And I want you to look at it from a fundamental perspective as to what you could do, or even collectively with agents in your office or with your brokerage in this context, okay? Now, one of the things that when I was selling real estate in 1993, the Lion King movie came out. Remember that movie, the original? 1993. I had 2 out of the 3 daughters so far, and the 2 that I had, the one I took to the Lion King movie at least 6 times in 93. And in 1994, and here's what I want you to think about. This was my thought process back then, all right? I had this database. I was doing quite well, doing good volume, good business, but I always thought this way. I want an excuse to call my people. I don't want to just call with nothing. I don't want to call just some small talk. I want to be able to bring some value and feel really good about it. Because a lot of times agents don't want to make phone calls or prospecting calls or whatever you want to call it, because you feel like you're bothering people and you're playing mental gymnastics in your head, and you sell yourself off at doing it more than you sell yourself on to doing it, right? So what happens is, and I guess I clearly defined it most just recently when I said, when you call somebody, call people with the intention of giving them something, as opposed to calling people with the intention of asking for something. So I never had that perspective then, but it was the same. But that was essentially the foundation to to my reasoning here. So I thought, what would be really cool to do? Now, because I was going to all the different trainings and coaching and this and that and the other thing, one of the people I really liked was Howard Brinton. Who remembers Howard Brinton? Yeah, God, R.I.P., right? Rest in peace. But he was a really cool guy, a lot of fun, and he had these scrapbooks. And I bought 2 of the scrapbooks, and they were really heavy duty, and had all these different marketing ideas of what people did across the nation, and got some great, cool ideas. And one of them did a movie event. And as soon as I saw that, I said, I'm doing that. I'm going to do a movie. And so what I decided to do was I called up the Pickering Town Centre, Pickering, Ontario, Canada, and it's a town now of about 90,000 people. And I called the local theater, and I said, how much would it cost to rent the theater? And they said, well, it depends. Do you want to do it after hours or before hours? So if you do it at Saturday at 9 o'clock, that's before the theater typically opens up. Then you could do it for this price for a first run movie, which was a lot, or it was like $600 to run a previously run movie like The Lion King from, the last year. And so I thought, well, gosh, I don't want to look like a cheapskate, but I wonder if people will come out to the Lion King movie again. And then I thought to myself, wait a second, I took my daughter to this thing half a dozen times. Why wouldn't everybody else do the same thing? Because it's a thing to do with my kid or whatever. So I took a leap of faith, and I signed a contract, set the date and the time to make this thing happen. So I was like, okay, now I'm committed, right? But again, here's the reason why I like the idea. I visualized talking to people in my farm area, knocking on their doors, and offering free tickets to the movies, or calling people in my database and offering free tickets. And it just made me feel like, oh, this would be so much fun. In fact, I look forward to calling through my database now. I have something very cool to offer, right? You're with me on this? So that was the foundation or the reasoning behind doing it at that time. This is 25 years ago. Now, it was still a bit of a risk. Not everybody would want to do this, but here's what happened. So I then designed a little flyer, and so I can hand it out. I can mail it out to my past clients on their database. I had a flyer that I could give out to my farm area. I would have tickets made up and stuff like that. And that was pretty much the extent of it. And what was cool about doing an event, it could be something less elaborate. One of the things we used to do as a brokerage, give you just an idea, or just think of it from a fundamental concept. We did Santa Photo for Kids Day. So we hired a Santa Claus. We had a whole bunch of agents collaborate together on it. Didn't cost us anything for the Santa Claus because it was my lawyer. He was yeah, so volunteered.
It wasn't free.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Sorry, I'm just trying to imagine my attorney.
Yeah, right. Is he a fun guy?
It's really hard for them to give anything out. I didn't know if that was...
Yeah. Well, that's one way you could contribute, right? So, and then we had a photographer, and we tied it in with a food drive and a toy drive. And then what would happen is, now here's the reason I did it as a broker. I wanted to give my agents the same experience, to give them an excuse to call their contacts, their farm area. Hey, how's it going? How are the kids? Guess what? We're doing this really cool event, free Santa photo for kids. Who doesn't want a free Santa photo, right? Instead of going to the mall and paying $1 gazillion. We'll have hot chocolate, marshmallows, and all this other stuff. And by the way, we're tying it in with a food drive and a toy drive for all the blues. Oh, right? You see where I'm going with this? So the reason we did that was the same reasoning, to do an event that would, but I did it also for my reasoning, for recruiting. I would call the people I wanted to recruit and say the same thing to them and say, hey, you have kids, grandkids, whatever, come on over, I'd love to invite you, free Santa photo for kids, and bring them along, we're having hot chocolate. Just the fact that I had the experience or the opportunity to call them, never had a negative comment. In fact, they would apologize if they knew they weren't available that day. Can you imagine? They're apologizing to me. I'm making the phone call. So I did it from a broker perspective, but then I said to my agents, let's create all these flyers. How many do you need? We got all together. They got them sent out. And so it was also helping them with their business, right? Same reasoning. So here was what was cool. I did it for my farm area. I would knock on the doors. I had it all mailed out to my clients, called them on the phone. Hey, it's Peter, how's it going? Just want to let you know we're doing this really cool event. Free tickets to the movies for the Lion King movie. So would you like to come? Or I'll send you tickets. They said, oh, absolutely, that'd be awesome. How many can I have? Whatever, right? So that was awesome. Then one day I was doing knocking on doors. See, guys, when you have something fun like this, prospecting is fun. It's enjoyable to do. For me, life's got to be is a game. Life's about adventure and making it fun. Just because business, we always have these constructs in our head that prospecting is, oh, I know I have to do it, but I don't really. See, guys, if you feel like that, then you got to realize, don't do it then. Do something that makes it exciting, right? So I told this story maybe last year, I don't know if you remember, but I still remember, Jason, you'd be a good example for this story. Actually, would you mind standing up for a second? See the pipes on this guy? Okay, all right. Now, just visualize him about 6 inches taller, like this, okay? I'm knocking on the door, do the typical green thing, which is like this. Yeah, give me the scowl, kind of, perfect. All right. Knock on the door, he opens up, and it looks just like that. What do you want, right? That's what he said.
What do you want?
Yeah. Free tickets to the movies. And as soon as he said that, these arms just went like that. What do you mean by that, right? You can sit down for a second. But it was like freaked me out, right? Because I'm 6'2", I'm about 200 pounds. I'm not small, but this guy made me look like it. And he had that. And so as soon as that free tickets to the movies, he's going, oh, why are you doing that? Well, I'm a real estate agent, and I just want to be known in the neighborhood. If you ever have any interest in the properties that are selling around here, just want you to think of me to call and whatever else, but just doing this because I want to do a nice promotion to say thank you to everybody in the neighborhood. And he says, really? That's really cool. He says, how many tickets can I have? He said, you can have as many as you want. I'm glad he's in the front row. Thank you. So, I like how somebody laughs at my stupid jokes. So anyways, but I seriously said that. He goes, can I invite their friends? I says, absolutely. He goes, that's really cool, man. So you're doing this why? And he says, because, I want to be known in the marketplace here, and I want people to think of me if you're ever thinking about buying or selling real estate. He said, want to come in for a drink? Sure. Like, he started off like almost wanting to take my head off, going, why are you bugging me? To, why don't you come in for a drink? And I'm going, sure, yeah. And so the funny part of the story is I walked through his house, and in his dining room, he's got, okay, I'm going to share some Canadian stuff, okay? 2-4s. He had 6 2-4s stacked up in the corner of his dining room. Perfect. I knew that look was going to. In Canada, a 24 case of beer is called a 2-4. It's a 2-4, eh? So, and now I know you guys call it a case, right? So it's 24 case of beer, 6 of them in the dining room. Molson Canadian. He says to me, what do you feel like drinking? I don't know. You got any Canadian? Right? So instant friends, instant business. I don't know how many properties I sold with him. I can't remember. And the referrals. It's amazing what happens when you just have something of value off. Now, if I was just there with my business card, that wouldn't have gone over the same way, right? Being something that starts with the letter D again, right? Different.
Did you go any more houses after that?
Pardon?
Did you go any more houses after that?
After drinking, you mean? Or, yeah.
Woo! Who wants tickets?
Yeah. Well, and it works in different ways. And everybody, I never had a negative response, but that's my point. See how much fun that could be, right? And the fact of the matter, I'm not even finished the best part of the story. So here's the thing. Even if nobody showed up, it would have still been worth it. For $600 to give me the excuse to do what I did and be able to make the friendships, connections, and the excuse to call through my database, that was worth it on its own. Didn't matter if anybody showed up. But here's the best part of the story. So we're sitting there ready to go. We had a bunch of vendors there too. And I invited them. And I'm going to show you how we're going to tie this in a second. I want you to think globally or on a sort of a general picture. It doesn't have to be a movie. It could be something else of that nature, right? Or why not a movie? Movie's easy. So I was at the bottom of the stairs. I had to walk up about 20 stairs to get to the front glass, the big glass doors. I was allowed to open up. So I'm like really nervous. I don't know what to expect. And when I walked up the stairs, I was shocked. There was a lineup of people from the front of the glass to the back of the mall and around the corner. And yeah, it was awesome. It was. I still get goosebumps thinking about it to this day. I still feel it in my cheeks, because it was just this thing, like you feel like you connected with people, and that they showed up was just the cherry on the sundae, right? And so what happened was I opened up the doors, and what do you think they're saying as they're walking in? Oh, Peter, this is awesome. Oh, this is great. We're looking forward. The kids were excited. I'm there. I'm connecting with their family now. I'm connecting to their experience. And I never asked them if you think about buying or selling real estate. Don't have to, right? It's about relationships. So when all these people are loading in, I'm going, holy mackerel! I hope we have enough room in the theater. We had over 300 people show up. I know, and I was overwhelmed by it also, and sure, there was a lot of kids there. That was fantastic. And so so you can visualize this room full of all of these people, and I had some vendors there, and I quickly introduced everybody. Said, guys, this my home stager, they're awesome. If you're blah blah blah. Here's my lawyer. Here's my home inspector. You name it. We had them one at a time, real quick. I said, guys, I just wanted to say one thing. First of all, just thanks for coming. I'm so excited you're here. I hope you have a great day. The concession stand is open. They buy their own concessions, their own stuff. I said the concession stands are open. Just enjoy yourself. And hey, I got to just close with this. If you're ever thinking about buying or selling real estate, just please think of me. And finished, and the movie started, and boom, it was fan-freaking-tastic, okay? So the point again was, what are you doing that's different? What makes you stand out? But you know what? Everybody in this room could do that. You could pull that off if you feel comfortable enough. All I did here was I thought I'd show you how I would do it if I was doing it in the 21st century, because we didn't have social media and everything. That could be the danger though too, because you may just think, oh, just blast this out and people will come. And they might, a few. But if you miss the opportunity to knock on the door and call them, then you've missed the whole essence of the story here. That's the power. That's the money shot. That's the 7 times the 1 passive touch is the contact, right? And that's what made it connected and so beautiful. So you do up a little flyer like that, you send it out in the farm area, you mail this to your clients, just as the date and time. But what would I do now? I'd send out that bomb video with my face saying, hey guys, I'm so excited. We rented the theater, it's going to be this date and this time. Click on the link below for the flyer, click over here if you need this, and click over here for that. So I would have that sent out. I'd still call them. Hey, did you get my video? Oh, Peter, that was cool video. This is how I visualize it happening this year. Oh man, that's so cool. Because how many people get a video email, right? So BombBomb cost me $400 a year. Do this event was $600. The flyers maybe another $400. Less than $2,000, whatever it is. My question to you is, what's your strategy? What are you going to do to contact your database? How are you going to take advantage of that $268,000 that's sitting in 150 people on your list? Right? Can you see how easy it is to make money when you do stuff like that? Right? And it was a cool experience. So that's like a BombBomb video layout. You just click the video, and underneath it's got a little tag here. Click here to RSVP, and here's for the flyer. They hear me talk about it. I can even measure the analytics, how many people open it up. I can even see who opened it up. And by the way, when I'm calling people and I know they don't have their email address, what do you think I'm doing? Hey, what's your email address? Oh, that's all part of a what? Strategy, part of my process. Whenever I call, this is what I'm looking to get, the information I want. You're creating a bigger and bigger profile of the people and what they want and what they need and who they are and how old the kids are and what their names are. See, this is fun. Are you with me on this?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Now, here's what's cool. Again, reason to call. That's the premise of this concept, of this idea. It's about managing your database. What are you going to do in 2020? What's going to be your idea? Do you want to go collectively with a bunch of agents? You could also do that maybe collectively. I would still do it individually personally, but that's another story. Or as an office, do a Santa photo for Kids Day, whatever it may be. But you look for opportunities. What gives me the excuse to make the call? Oh, asking for referrals. Well, that's another thing. Here's what I would do. In that phone call too, you may say to them exactly what I said before. Realize this. A lot of people don't know that they can help you. Sometimes they may look at you and go, oh, they're a hotshot. They don't need my help. They don't, not that they necessarily think that. It's what they probably perceive. But if you would call, when you're calling them, and you would say after this spiel, let's say about the movie tickets or whatever, say, hey, Greg, do you mind if I ask you a question, brother? I could really use your help. And what would you say if I said that to you? Yeah, what would you need? Said, listen, man, would you feel comfortable if you knew somebody who's thinking about buying or selling real estate to refer them to me? Are you comfortable with that?
Peter, I've been referring you for 10 years since we started.
Yeah, that's true, actually. Thanks, Craig. Thanks, brother.
Did you forget that?
No, I didn't forget that. I didn't forget that at all. But you know what? But if you don't ask, right? Like Greg could think, oh, he's a hotshot. He doesn't need my help. Not that you'd even think that. But if I didn't ask him, say, would you be comfortable referring me? Then he understands, oh my gosh, I can actually help him. That's really great because I love this customer service. I loved how he showed up on closing day. I love the closing gift that he gave me. I still have it on my, I have this friend who does these nice boards with the live edge or whatever, and he can brand it with a laser and everything. He put the company name just on the back, maybe compliments of me. It's just whatever it is, right? I like if you're going to give a gift, I think it should be something that they see and use on an ongoing basis. That's my personal thought around it, because might as well maximize. But bottom line is, if they already like you, why not ask for their help? We're not above asking for help, are we? I wasn't either. So that could be part of your strategy. See, guys, I know I'm throwing a lot at you, but I just want you to just think about a couple key things you can put in place for 2020. And once you knock that down, then you add the next pieces. And maybe you could put an idea like that in for 2023 or 22, right? Get the courage up, whatever it may be. Everybody's at different places in their career, right? Now, here's where it really can take it over the top. All right, check this out. Or we'll talk about, well, that's another part of the strategy is determining a budget. So you got to know how much money you're dealing with. But here's the really cool thing. And so where is our promoter? Where's our person who's sponsoring the lunch? I'm sorry. Yes. Okay. Janelle, thank you. Janelle, I apologize for forgetting your name. So, Janelle, I just wanted to share this with you and see what their take is on this too, okay? Because your line of work is home warranties, right? So pretty much everybody needs a home warranty or should, right?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And by the way, give it up for Janelle again for okay? Now, Janelle, I'm sure you would agree with this. If I was an agent doing some decent business, I've got some great strategies, I got a business plan, I show you that business plan, you know you're going to get all my home warranty business, right? But let me ask you this. Do you maintain a database of past clients and referrals and leads?
I do.
You do. Wonderful. I don't know if this is true or not, but do those people also buy and sell real estate?
I'm assuming a lot of agents.
No, not agents. Your database, your people.
My database is all real estate agents.
Oh, just the real estate agents?
Yes.
Okay, but so not the clients that you're servicing?
My company would have that information, but I only market directly to the realtor.
Okay, let me ask you this. So your company's marketing to the client, right?
Yeah.
They're not.
We market our service through a real estate agent.
All right, so maybe
We're a little bit different. Some companies do go directly
All right.
to the consumer, but we do not.
No, fair enough. Then that's fine too, because so your market is going to be to the realtors, right? So typically if it's like a home mortgage or somebody does mortgages, their database would be filled with some of your clients and other clients, right?
Sure.
Right? Of different companies, right? From different companies, right? Now, think about this, guys. What if you had a strategy together? What if you did a couple of these a year? What if you approached maybe 5 or 6 of these very high-end, successful vendors, okay? Because it's got to be somebody who knows, it's somebody like a Janelle who's willing to invest in something like that, like this. Those are the people that are the sharp tools in the toolbox, right? Everybody else just wants things handed to them. They expect freebies, right? But when you have vendors like that who actually have databases of people in their database that actually buy and sell real estate, see where I'm going with this? What if they invited their database to your event also? What if you're helping them with their clients also, that also buy and sell real estate? You with me on this, guys? Right? You see what I'm going with it? See how easy this is how you be different? It's not just your database. How about their database that buy and sell real estate and inviting them to your event? And do you think you're helping them with their business? Do you think that they might just chip in to make this cost you zippity-doo-dah, zippity-a? Yeah, so it would cost you nothing. And you're doing them a huge favor because you're helping with their business, but at the same time, those people buy and sell real estate, and guess who's the only realtor in the room? Yours truly, right? Now, see, that's kind of what I'm getting at with this. So if the $600 scared you, all right, as an example, that was 25 years ago, it's going to cost more, but what if you could set it up where it doesn't cost you anything? Would you do it? Who would do it? Who would do it? Oh, wow. All right, that's pretty cool. That is really cool. And it could be the movie thing, it could be whatever, right? But you could see yourself doing it now, right? And that's kind of what I just wanted to jar the thinking, get outside of the box, because that's what happens when you get around people that are successful, when you go to training, have coaching, and all this other wonderful stuff. Gets you out of that box, because when you're in a box, when you're doing the day-to-day, it's hard to see beyond your face sometimes, right? So I'm just sharing this to you globally. Make sense? As a concept. But it did, and by the way, you know, the funny thing is here, invite your strategic alliances to contribute to the strategy. So here's your database. Could cost you actually nothing, dollars and cents wise. But this is the part I like. Look at how your database exponentially grows overnight. Overnight. Can you imagine with that kind of collaboration on a number of events on an ongoing basis, what that could look like for your business? Woo-wee! Who believes that attending today helped them maybe make some more money 2020? Put up your hand. If you implement some of that stuff, right? A lot of great ideas, right? A lot of different things you can maybe implement, but just pick and choose a couple of them. Don't get overwhelmed, all right? So, with that being the case, I'm going to sort of sum it all up and put it in a nice bow on it, okay? So, because you guys have probably had enough of hearing this Canadian talk, right? So, you guys learned about the 5 purposes of a business. Make profit. You got to leverage your time. You want to differentiate. Professional fulfillment. Make it fun and enjoyable, right? Like the movie event as an example. Have something to eventually sell because you're going to start managing that database at a level higher than you ever did before. You're going to pull more out of it. And you know how you're going to do it? Just by providing more value to people, being more interactive, being a human being. This is the beautiful thing about it. Sometimes people are so connected to the money, so necessary to get the next deal to pay the bills. You're missing the human element of it all. And it's the long game, not the short game, right, that you want to focus on. So that's the 5 purposes of business. And it's all about focusing on profit. Number 1. I'm going to skip by this. And then see here, guys, for the strategy. Here's what you do. See that movie then? Just start capturing the action items. This, I need to get a flyer, I need to do this, I need to get my budget, I need to talk to these people, I need to do that. Once you build it once, it becomes a living document. You just expand on it, add to it, enhance it. Maybe next year you bring balloons. You know, you have all these different thoughts. The first time you run through it, don't try to be perfect, but after the first run by, you go, oh, you know what I got to do next year and do this and this and this. And you start building on that strategy. So strategy needs to be documented. It's like any system, like any process. That's a plan. That's a business plan, right? So it looks something like that, and you put who's the team member who's going to do it. Could be your daughter, could be your son, could be your spouse, whatever it may be, or in charge of certain things. Maybe your broker's involved with something. Who knows? Got a deadline there. So, how many additional transactions do you think you would generate in 2020 if you implemented just some of the ideas you think about that you learned today, right? Just think about it. Now, if you said to me, oh, Peter, I don't know, Well, yeah, and if you have the accountability, so get into some sort of an accountability group, right? With your brokerage, with your trainers, with one another, right? We'll put a little thing together to help you guys out with all of that. And what would it be like if you had control of the money? How about just some quarterly consulting or just sitting down with your broker? Your brokers are brilliant people, by the way. They care a lot. That's why they do stuff like this for you, right? Not every broker does this. Yeah. All right, let's give it up for them. Yeah. So guys, and that's the difference between like one real estate agent to the next, right? One broker to the next. There's a difference. So if you feel you could generate an extra 10 deals, well, if your average GCI is 6250, then it was worth 60 grand to be here today. Wouldn't you agree? All right? At least that, right? And that's the whole premise. Your time is valuable. I honor your time. I'm excited that I have the opportunity to share with you, okay? So regardless of what your number is, it's about how to, I said I've tried to promise you $50,000 to $100,000 if you implement some key things. Would you agree that you feel that that's possible now? Yeah, okay, fair enough. So I followed through with my promise? Okay. This is my last slide. Will you give me just 2 minutes to finish this up? All right. So I love this slide. I haven't changed it in years because it speaks to my message, it speaks to my story, it speaks to my journey. And my journey was exactly that. It was all about volume. Get the awards and the acknowledgement, the recognition. I love this. Go crazy. But I always found myself chasing after the money. The worst thing that ever happened to me in my life is making over $200,000 a year and asking for getting a loan from my parents. That's pain. That's just damn stupid too, right? It just goes to show you, I know what it's like to lose control. I know what it's like to be in this industry. I've been there, done it, bought the t-shirt, made every mistake at least 10 times, learned a couple things along the way, and changed it up. And actually to this day now, which blows me away, that I actually have a company called the Profit Center that I started in 2008. It's going to be, holy cow, 11 years already? 11 years. A company called the Profit Center, completely outside of my realm of thinking back in the day when I was a young punk, just who had a lot of energy and a lot of chutzpah, right? But here's this part. I got a lot of training and coaching, right? All about this. They taught me how to make more money, how to make more transactions, more sales, less time at home, family problems, circumstances, challenges, divorce.
And that's why we love Peter.
We'll edit that word out. Want me to do it again? No, you can leave it in. I don't believe in using bad language, but I do think that sometimes the word has special, if you use it all the time, then it doesn't have any emphasis. But I'm telling you, this was my life. And I'm looking at this going, no, that's not what I want. That's not what I wanted. And sometimes we get down that wrong road, and everybody was motivating me down the wrong road. So when I started the Profit Center, I thought, and this was kind of where the seed, the catalyst started, was like, wait a second, you need education to turn around first. Once you have the education to turn you around, then let's motivate you to make more money. If you notice the structure of the presentation, it was like, guys, I'd love to get right into the dollars and cents, but yeah, I want to show you a really cool strategy on how to handle the money. I want to show you how to define your key performance indicators, and then let's talk about how you can help you make more money. Because I know I can motivate anybody to anything, but this is what I wanted to do more than anything else. So on that note, I want to say thank you so much for having me. I'm so grateful to you guys for bringing me down. I mean, I truly love you all. I live vicariously through you. I really do. Thank you so much for your time. Have a wonderful year, okay?
What I can honestly say is I've been doing this 34 years, and the Profit Center took what I've learned about real estate and running a business and put it all together, and it was that last step that finally made everything make sense. If you haven't heard him speak, take the time to hear him speak, and if you have his app, you definitely use it because it will take you to the next level.
Hi, I'm Leo Sebas, and I'm here today at a Peter Mueller seminar, and if you haven't been to one, you need to come. He's got a great focus on your business from a totally different perspective. It's not how much business you're doing, it's how much money you're making. So it's the profit side of it that's the important side. It's the money that you get to keep. That's what counts. That's what you get to spend on the things you need, the things you want, and all the fun stuff you do. So if you haven't been to see Peter Mueller, put it on your to-do list. He's amazing.
Hi, I started Peter Mueller learning about him last year, and this is my second time a year later, and I've implemented so many of his things that he's talked about the first time, and this time I was able to track everything and see how I've grown. In just 1 year, I surpassed my goal by quite a bit. So I'm super excited to see what 2020 brings for me, and if you haven't had a chance to learn from him, please do so.
Hi, Peter Mueller's awesome! Woo-woo! So this is my second year seeing him, my second time. Actually, my second year in real estate. It's been a year, and I've implemented some of the direct mailings, the social media, and it resonates so much better this year, having been in the business for a while. So it's very relevant and always great key takeaways, and I just appreciate him coming. If you get a chance to see him, come and see him. He's awesome.
Hey, I just finished the training with Peter, and I have to say, not only was there humor, so it kept my attention, but the content was absolutely amazing and very applicable to me and my business, and I'm looking forward to implementing it in the coming year. Thanks so much.
I want to say that the conference has been great, and Peter Mueller, I mean, if you ever get the opportunity to see him, he's amazing, he's energetic. You always come back with something. I've been with him now for about 7 months, and I've never regretted coming here, and if you get the opportunity to see him live, get out here and see him, because what he's offering you is amazing, and it just changes the entire way you look at the business you're doing.
Peter Mueller. I'm keeping it simple. He's amazing. That's all. Hey, I'm Angela from Kansas City. This is my second time seeing Peter. I think he's intentional with his approach in managing your money and making a profit. So I'd encourage anybody to come and check him out. Is that good?
Listen, this motivational speaker was awesome today, mostly because what I learned was how to save money and not necessarily make more money, but save more money. And that I am a big fan of. Thank you.
Hi, just wanted to let you know that we just heard Peter and it was amazing. Our broker, who's the best, recommended Peter, and I learned so much in a short amount of time. And the best thing about it was that I had several takeaways that I could put into practice right away. So very excited. You need to come next year. Thanks. Bye-bye.